all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I?
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg. Welcome to the show live on a Monday night. We appreciate everybody who's going to be joining us live. And like we always say, whether you watch it live, whether you catch it on YouTube, whether you catch it on the podcast app, we appreciate you being here with YHS. We are about to be in our 9th year. It's crazy. And no plans on slowing down. Lots to cover tonight. Actually, not true. It's kind of a slow news week, but we're going to have some fun either way. Well, the Golden Globes were last night. I don't know how much we'll get into that.
Who cares?
Hey, I cared. I watched them.
I watched
uplifted.
them. I watched every minute of it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Nikki Glaser.
Debbie Moore.
Debbie Moore fucking kicked ass.
Debbie Moore?
Debbie Moore. I know all the actresses now.
Jesus.
Demi Moore, she won for The Substance, which was pretty awesome.
For Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical?
It's
The
not a comedy.
Substance is neither of those things.
Don't disrespect the Golden Globes.
Well, here's the thing.
I like them because it's just pure entertainment.
Here's the thing. It's like a strategy, right? Because you're not going to win Best Drama, so you got to go in the other category. It's a whole thing. I've been thinking
Cheapens
about it a
it
lot.
to me, I think.
Okay. Well, the Golden Globes are kind of the cheaper award anyway.
Right.
I mean, we haven't even won one, and I'd like to, but we'll get to that another time. That's for 2026.
It's one of our goals.
One of our goals
After 9 years.
Guys, imagine we win an award at some point. Knowing the three of us, we'd basically be like, well, we'd like to thank ourselves mostly. It's basically about us, and no,
we did all the work.
We did it all.
I'd like to thank my manager. What if we real quick, let me introduce everybody before I get into my little thing I was just gonna do about like we all have careers in the movies, but we do the child star thing, and our moms are all of our managers still.
Our momagers.
Do you guys think your mom? All right, let me roundtable this. If let's say we wrote and directed a movie, became very successful in the movie business, and our moms were our managers, who of the three of our moms would most likely do the Macaulay Culkin parent thing and like steal all the money and then be like an emancipation?
Collectively?
Not my mom.
No, Jake's mom would be good.
I'd say not mine either.
I think there'd be I love my mom. I'm not going to make her my money manager. Let's just put that out there right now. Let's just put that out there right now. Joining me as always, my co-host, Jacob Walsh. What's up, man?
Hey, I didn't know if we were going to do the big announcement tonight. About how we're going to be competing on the new season of Pop Culture Jeopardy.
As a throuple. Yeah.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Are you watching?
Yeah, we started it last night. We watched like 5 or 6 episodes.
It's kind of addicting, right?
It's really good.
And I was like, it's teams of 3? Why didn't we know about this?
Sign me up. Yes. I can be in the middle seat. You guys as my supporting systems. I think we'd kill it. Like the majority of the questions, I feel like between Craig and I, we got them all.
Yeah,
sometimes, but I was watching it and I was like, oh, I don't know if we would actually be. There are a lot of. I feel like I don't know more of the questions than I do know, and then the ones I do know, I have that thing where it's like I clearly know the answer, but I can't. My brain doesn't do the thing where.
Well, Jeopardy's all about recourse. You got to be quick.
It takes me a second. I'm like, oh, what? Last night there was one, and I was like, ooh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, it took me
right.
30 seconds. I was like,
I remember that one. I think we'd put Craig in the middle as like the person that answers the most, and then like maybe we'd flank.
Well, listen,
I don't.
Go for it. I mean, I've been thinking about it. Like, if they do a season 2, we should try to get on.
Yeah,
but. Do we use the name Yes Have Some, or do we come up with 100%. Another clever pun?
No.
Okay.
We're yes have some, because then we get to explain why on TV.
Well, also
they ask every team why.
A couple things. Colin Jost is a great host. He's very funny. You know, the Jeopardy studio is about 20 feet from Ghost Corps. So
yeah, I've been on it. I've been on that studio.
I mean, really, This is all starting to make sense.
We're
Okay.
basically there all the time anyway. Hey,
Mhm.
do you ever get the feeling that Colin Jost might be an asshole in real life, or do you think he's a cool dude?
No, I think he's funny.
I think he's very funny too, but he also has a little bit of that. I'm like, he can't be like this all the time. He must be a jerk.
Well, he's like it's like Conan O'Brien. He's like a Harvard educated upper crust. And he's married to Scarlett Johansson. He's probably got some asshole, but we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to get
In
to a
case
point.
we're on the show, I'm going to say for the record that I think he's cool.
No, I think I want to get to a point in my life where I could let more of my Colin Jost side out publicly.
Oh, you think you're like Colin Jost?
I think I could be
I
Harvard
wish
educated.
you were like Colin Jost.
Well, dude, I saw this commercial today. It was like, go to night school and get your second degree. And I was like, fuck, I'd do that, but I don't have the first one. So,
Good one.
Abigail, how
I
are
like
you?
that. I'm doing well. I'm a little bit cold. It's cold over on our side of it's everywhere right now. I'm pretty sure it is. But I'm doing well. I've got coffee. I've got a warm hat. Cats. I'm talking to y'all, which is the best thing. And I think that if we were to do the Jeopardy that we're talking about, the pop culture Jeopardy, our team should be called "Want to Hear About Our Podcast?" Because that's funny. No one wants to.
The question that universally
What?
everyone in
Yeah.
the world goes, no,
No,
I don't.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. If you're not watching that, it's on Amazon Prime, and I hope they do a season 2 because we will try our best to be part of that.
Mhm.
But it won't be like Steve Harvey. Like, we won't do a big prank. We won't shut down Geek Dad Life's channel over it.
We're gonna be the heroes, not the villains.
I'm not promising anything.
Jacob's gonna stay.
I'll do whatever I want.
Jacob's gonna start a fight with the other team.
Well, thank you guys all for being here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button or bell notification if you're on YouTube. We appreciate everybody being here. Speaking of Geek Dad Life, we just watched this documentary this week. I believe it's called Getting Lost. It's a documentary about the show Lost and the Lost fandom. We won't go too far into it. We're all huge fans of Lost. It's one of those things that we discovered once we started hanging out. Just like Twister, we were like, "Oh, you're as into this as we are." But I thought the documentary was really good. And for those of you who don't know, Jay Glatfelter was one of the biggest Lost podcasters there was, and him and his wife Colleen are both in the documentary, and they both did a great job. And I thought it was really cool. It was fun, kind of reliving some of that Lost fandom. Like, I feel like I wanted to be more into like the theories and the message boards and all that stuff, but I don't think I was quite as internet savvy back in, I don't know, 2006. I should have
It
been.
was not a time, I think, when you had an iPhone, so it was like you needed.
Yeah, I couldn't get to the message
go to a
boards on my
library.
Yeah. Nokia, but I wanted to.
I wasn't in that either, but I also feel like I was at the time. I knew that they didn't know what they were doing. You know what I mean? It was like kind of obvious that they were just making it up week by week, and which is fine because I loved it. But
Well, they talk about Damon Lindelof, and he talks about it in the documentary. Like, they were monitoring the message boards and they were altering storylines based
for
on
ideas.
Yeah,
they were like, so the polar bear.
It's almost like a toy company that would listen to Toy Anxiety.
Yeah, and they start
and then start altering things.
And start altering we haven't had that yet.
They should have listened to somebody else when deciding what the smoke monster was. That was such a letdown.
Yeah.
Well, also, like, they were talking about how like Walt was a psychic and he manifested the polar bear, and I was just like, what? I haven't watched Lost in so long. I got to go back and figure some of this out.
Until it's just revealed that there's just polar bear on the island.
There's just a polar bear on the island.
Because they're doing experiments.
I like that show. It meant a lot to me at the time. I feel like I've tried to do the rewatch. I end up just kind of watching the pilot and then just picking a few episodes I really like. But yeah, definitely good. Abby, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved the documentary. It was very pure and inspirational. Like, it reminded me of why we do podcasting and like the community that you create. it's kind of like your family unit. You find people that like the same things for the same weird reasons, and lifelong friends and stuff. So I thought stuff was really cool. Like seeing Jay also and seeing Colleen and like how much loss meant to them was really cool. And there's just some really good stories in there.
It's not like Trekkies or anything, right? Where they
No, it's not
pick a bunch of weird
exploitative. It's
people,
like it's real,
It's an
authentic,
actual
and
documentary.
self-aware.
Go
Yeah,
check it out.
it's not
Yeah.
ghost heads. That's what we'll say.
Gotcha.
It's not?
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, we hope everybody's having a great time. Happy New Year to everybody. Thanks for being here. So let's go ahead and get into, I don't want to bury the lead because this was it's been an ever evolving day when it comes to whether or not there's a new Matrix movie and whether or not Will Smith's going to be in it. We got to talk about it because it was one of the only big breaking news things today. Will Smith posts this cryptic tweet that says something along the lines of, in 1998 or 99, the Wachowskis offered me a role in The Matrix. I turned it down to do Wild Wild West. I feel like that's maybe an episode in itself for another time. Because I don't even think I've ever actually really watched Wild Wild West. Like I've seen some of it, but I've never seen it.
It's worth a watch.
Really?
Is it
Never heard of
good?
it.
Is there
Sure.
anything good?
No, but it's
Bad.
worth a watch. It's insane.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. I remember I've talked about this, but I remember going to see that in the movie theater with a friend at the time, and it was the first time I saw a movie that I had been anticipating. That I was like, I like Will Smith. I'm excited for all of this, and then when I saw it, I was like, something weird. Like I was like, I could tell that there were some things about it that were just not good.
Well,
So I had that realization.
if you think this time period, Will Smith, he does Independence Day, Men in Black. He had done the Bad Boys movies. Like he was the biggest star in the world, and he gets offered The Matrix, turns it down, does Wild Wild West. History will not repeat itself, according to Will Smith today, because he does this tweet or this message or this Instagram post, and he says he turned it down, and then it says, "Wake up, Will." So it's this cryptic post. Everybody starts thinking Will Smith's going to do The Matrix. And then somewhere around mid-afternoon, everyone went, wait, is there even a Matrix? What is this even thing? So that everybody shifts to, it's a Super Bowl commercial, right? It's got to be one of these. It's got to be a Super Bowl
Possibility.
commercial.
That's a real possibility.
But then I'm like, what is the commercial just Will Smith going through projects
In The Matrix?
he turned down?
It's just
like,
him in The Matrix. It's like, what if Will... the
Yeah, it's like a
commercial
what
is,
if.
What if Will Smith did The Matrix?
Yeah.
But that
It will be...
seem...
It will be his head deep faked onto Keanu Reeves' body, and it will be scenes from The Matrix.
Well,
showing the world why we're all lucky that he did not do The Matrix.
so this was on Hollywood Reporter.
I think the article is something different, or the post is
tweet.
something different.
So do I.
Tweet.
That's what I wanted to get into.
I think Will Smith is out of his fucking mind. He has been for a while.
Okay.
Why you're saying okay as if it hasn't been clearly obvious that this man has fucking lost it.
I mean, I recall an incident at an award show a couple years ago. Yeah. No, I mean, I
think it's just him being like, I should have did The Matrix. I think that's all it is. I think he made a
Like
post
it's him
saying
trying
like,
to
imagine
put fade out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just him being like, cool, here I am, not a big movie star anymore because I fucked up. He fucked up, dude. He fucked up.
Hold on.
So he's like, maybe if I just tweet
Let's
this.
keep you guys honest. Let's keep everybody honest. Will Smith is still... It's just me now. No, I'm just kidding. Will Smith, he made Bad Boys 4. It was very successful. He still has some box office draw. I do like the idea of Will Smith waking up this morning being like, fuck, I should have did The Matrix. I better make a post about it.
I mean, that's 100%, I think, what it is.
But anyways, there's this article. I haven't even read this yet. So let's see what Hollywood Reporter has to say, because it's, like I said, a very fast developing story. Will Smith will not star in the next Matrix movie despite cryptic post. Will Smith will not be joining Warner Brothers and director Drew Goddard in a new Matrix. Okay, so they are doing a new Matrix movie that Drew Goddard's doing. Didn't he do Cabin in the Woods? Am I right about that?
No,
Do
I'm
you
not
write it?
sure. I'm not
I don't know.
sure. I
Drew
don't have that
Goddard?
info in front of me. I think even if he did, even if he was in a new Matrix movie,
Cabin in the Woods.
he's missed that boat. Matrix hasn't been good since the first Matrix came out.
Here we go.
I don't know. It'd be weird.
Goddard is the writer director behind The Martian, Cabin in the
Yes,
Woods.
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah. So he's going to write and direct a new Matrix movie. So maybe Will Smith,
Without the Wachowskis for the first time.
right? Which we saw the last one, and maybe that's an okay. Maybe that's Matrix 2,
I
3,
saw
and
the
4.
last 3.
Yeah, I didn't. The first one's great. I'll say that. Yeah.
So this is what I want to get into. Maybe Will Smith has been offered a new exciting project, and he's saying to the world, I learned my
It's the
lesson.
new Matrix.
I learned my lesson with I'm not going to do another Matrix move and turn down this big opportunity. But then I started brainstorming like what could that even.
I think that's possible, but I don't think Will Smith has the biggest goodwill right now. I mean, sure he was in Bad Boys 4.
BBF?
Who really cares? I don't know. I know you said it did well. But
yeah,
that franchise was a pretty big franchise before the slap, whatever. But I don't see Will Smith getting offered any, like a ton of new great roles. It's just weird. I mean, I haven't seen everything Will Smith's ever done, but I think he was kind of out of touch with his film roles before the slap and before the insane toxic relationship he was in or is in. I think the Will Smith's like style was really big for a while in the 90s, and it did really well, and we love a lot of those movies, Men in Black and Independence Day. Those movies don't get made like that anymore. Movies just aren't that anymore, and I don't know.
Yeah, like the distance between us and celebrities and knowing everything about them, we know more now, and like you can judge someone's character and want a distance.
So I wonder, unless he's just referring to like Sony, because there's been rumors that Sony's wanted to kind of get back in the Men in Black business after the last one did not do so hot and kind of go back to the roots. So maybe he comes back for Men in Black. Maybe he comes back. I don't think they're going to do a third Independence Day. I can't see that happening. But or maybe he just got a really great script and he's really excited about it. And he's like, I'm not gonna pull another, because this is not. We've heard there's been other stories of Will Smith. He turned down the second Independence Day to do like some other movie that bombed. I think it was that After Earth movie, like some.
Well, that movie. Well, I mean, the Independence Day wasn't very good. I can't imagine Will Smith being in it would have made it much better. Right. I don't know. I think this is all interesting to think about, and it's like Will Smith is such a weird. He's become like such a weird person to talk about and think about.
Right.
But dude, I've seen plenty of interviews where Will Smith is like showing his like, oh, this dude maybe needs a little bit of help.
Right.
Seems like he's calling out for help right now. I think he's probably just having a bad day, and he was like, fuck, I wish I would have been in the Matrix. And I think he just made a post about it, like, because everybody knows about it. I don't know. I think he was sitting around having a bad day, and he was like, man, should have done the Matrix.
Like, I'm going to make up fake news, kind of, yeah.
But there is no news. There's
right.
nothing.
I know. I'm going to create a buzz. He's creating a buzz.
Yeah.
For himself.
He needs it. I think he needs a buzz.
Yeah, Bad Boys is the only movie he did last year. So I don't fucking know. I mean, maybe that's the most relatable thing Will Smith's ever done. Like waking up with like some life regret and thinking about it. Like I think we all go through that. Yeah, we all go through that.
I go, hey, every day.
Yeah.
I'm glad he said no. I'm glad he turned down the Matrix. I don't think the Matrix would have been. I don't think that's, even at the time. I don't think that would have been a great movie. I think it would have changed it too much. I don't feel like Will Smith is the kind of actor. I think Will Smith is the kind of actor who he serves himself. He is not looking. Keanu Reeves is cool, and he just wants to go along for the ride. And he was in this really weird, mind-bending film, and he just did what the role asked of him. I feel like Will Smith makes it all about Will Smith.
It's a Will Smith movie.
And I don't
right?
think you can make The Matrix with Will Smith. I just don't. And that's why he didn't do it. He didn't do it because it wasn't funny. And because they probably were like, no, you can't just say whatever you can't just ad lib. You have to
Well, he also famously turned down Django Unchained.
Good.
Which again, like,
hey, imagine telling Quentin Tarantino no.
I can't. I like
So
your point though,
crazy.
Jacob, about Will Smith kind of lacking the subtlety that you would need for the role of Neo to be like, to be someone who's a leader, but they don't be the begrudging kind of leader where it's like they didn't expect to be kind of a thing. Will Smith definitely has a huge ego, which would make him less believable as a character. Good point.
yeah,
It's just
go
if you go ahead, Craig.
no, it's fine. You're good.
I was just gonna say, like, if you think about all the old Will Smith movies that people enjoy, Bad Boys, Independence Day, Men in Black, they are all like the plots don't matter. Will Smith is the same in every single movie. He is playing himself, and he's big and loud and funny, and he's got quips, and
It's almost like Jim Carrey.
That's why it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
It's like a
good
one.
comparison.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
except have you guys seen any of these clips from New Sonic?
No, nah.
I've seen a lot of people being like making these memes where there's like a quote from Jim Carrey that says, because he like was kind of in retirement for a while.
Sure.
And he was like, yeah, I don't think I'm really making anything. And there's all these memes where it's like, Jim Carrey, I'm in retirement until I read a script written in gold. And then it's a clip of him as Mr. Robotnik being insane. It looks like it might be very funny. It looks like Jim Carrey maybe had way too much fun making that Sonic movie. I think I'm going to have to.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the other
might be
ones,
good.
but it's like I want to watch it. And he plays two parts in it. And there's like a scene going around where it's like him as two different characters dancing with each other.
Yeah.
And I just want to watch Jim Carrey having fun.
I know that our nephews loved that movie.
Oh, they love it. Speaking of Keanu Reeves, who again, here that's a really good point though. Keanu Reeves will come and do the voice for Shadow in Sonic. You don't see Will Smith doing that. Because how does it help the brand of Will Smith?
And even the one time he did do that, the fucking shark movie, he's still just playing Will Smith.
What shark movie?
Yeah,
Jaws?
No, he's in a shark movie where he's the fish.
Okay.
He's the animated. It was like he's the animated fish in the shark movie.
I'm looking at
I don't remember what it was called, but he's an animated fish in a movie.
Yeah. So maybe this just all chalks up to Will
Shark
Smith.
Tale.
Like, here's the deal. Here's Shark Tale. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Golden Globes were last night. It's Academy Award season. Will Smith has a 10-year ban from the Oscars. So he's feeling a little low.
Do you think he was sitting at home watching the awards, just being like, I remember when I used to go to award shows.
I remember that time I hit Chris Rock and then won
like
Best
he's back.
Actor.
He's reposting old fake material.
I'm gonna post one tomorrow. I was like, I turned down Quentin Tarantino as well. I was supposed to be in Django too.
Sure, Dad.
Right. Sure,
okay,
Dad.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Jamie Foxx is incredible in Django, and like it is always interesting thinking about like what if castings.
Mm-hmm.
But this leads me to my next point, Abby. The whole point of this conversation is I want to like we think about franchises a lot at YHS. We think about Ghostbusters, Star Wars. One topic I want to tackle, I don't know how I want to set this up in the next couple of weeks, but I have this idea called saving horror franchises, where we break down like what if we're given the keys to the Nightmare on Elm Street
How to
kingdom?
fix it?
What do you do? Halloween, Friday the 13th. But just for the Matrix in general, like we're all kind of joking. Like the first one is this seminal moment in film history. 2 and 3, not so much. The last one, I tried rewatching it. It's nice to see Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss, but it just doesn't work. So like, what do you do with that concept? Is the Matrix something that you see with like a future? Like, can they reinvent that, or is it just a product of its time?
You go back in time and make it a one movie franchise.
Take the rest off. I think the lightning in a bottle effect of the first movie is it can't really be replicated because you start the movie in like 1999, like late 90s reality, and it's like kind of blasé and drudgery to like go to the office. And then when you recognize like what the Matrix is, it's like that moment of like aha can't really be repeated. And then the next movie they spend everything like within the Matrix universe, so there's less mystery. So yeah, I think that if you were to fix it, like maybe go back to like a future where people are still in the Matrix and don't know it, and I guess you have to kind of retell the story, but maybe do.
Well, that's what they just did.
Yeah,
that's what they literally. That's like.
Yeah, you know what, Jacob? I watched it and I don't remember it.
Yeah. Well, maybe the only way to do it is maybe you do a movie where it kind of explores some of the other people that maybe they thought were the one before Neo and those stories, but
false prophets.
But it's like, you know how all those stories end. So what's the point?
It is hard. There's certain like to me, the Matrix, like if they were to try to make, let's say David Fincher was like, oh, I've got 2 more sequels to Fight Club. You'd be like, well, why? Like, it's like a self-contained story.
Yeah, not everything needs to be sequelized. That's just that's just the point of it. Like, I know I loved the first Matrix. I think it's great, and I got really excited when the last one came out, and I went through and I rewatched all the other ones, and I was excited to sit down and watch the new one. But it might be hard to be like, yeah, sure, I love that. I want to see more of it, but that doesn't mean it always needs to happen. Sometimes it's like with Twister. Twister is one of my favorite movies of all time, and as excited as I am for the concept of like, oh, there might be another Twister movie, and then it's like, one of the worst things I saw last year. So it's like you have to. It's like you have to tell yourself, like, just because I love this thing doesn't mean there needs to be more. They need to be cranking it out.
Finality, like it's not something that's appreciated. It's like seeing where your story ends. That's what we were watching that Lost documentary, how Stephen King like talked to Damon Lindelof or J.J. Abrams, Carlton Cuse, one of them, and was like, you need an ending for the show. You need to have an end.
Okay, Stephen King.
Oh, thanks, Stephen King. Should I microwave my salmon now? Obscure Stephen King tweet reference.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but knowing where your end is and knowing that your end has a fucking point and that it's like, this is it. This means something. And there's no like, well, do you think they'll come back? You think they're still alive? Like,
well, if you think about it,
the end.
That's all really great points. If you go back to 1999 and you go back to the first Matrix and the phenomenon around it, the promise of that generation getting a Star Wars trilogy of their own, right? It was like this was going to be the Gen X Star Wars, and
that's such a funny concept now.
Yeah, I mean,
like, hearing that now is like, okay.
I can see it.
You can't promise things like you shouldn't promise things.
Sure,
like that.
You couldn't. You can't.
That's a big thing to say.
Yeah,
yeah.
I love the Matrix, and Bullet Time is fun.
First
and
one's great.
Cool.
First
looking.
Matrix is first one's top notch.
I walked out of that movie. I was like, Mom, mall now, trench coat, Ray-Bans, cell phone,
Dude.
Make it happen.
Yeah, my favorite thing about Matrix 2 is when you find out immediately that Morpheus is a fucking loser and everybody hates him.
Oh yeah.
You're like,
Love
he's not cool.
Oh man.
Everybody's laughing at him.
I know I've shared my relationship with The Matrix, but I saw it. We rented it as a family. Like I think the year that it came out, and
Nice.
I watched it and was like, I fell deeply, deeply in love with Keanu Reeves and researched him. And I remember that like Christmas was coming up and we were discussing what kind of gifts we should get for each other. And I was like, well, we should definitely get The Matrix for Dad. Even though I was like, I'm gonna fucking watch that every night over and over. I know the scenes I'm gonna rewind to. Yeah, I loved The Matrix, and it was influential and groundbreaking and like a visionary type of thing.
I was so bought into it. I had the Animatrix. I was
Yeah,
obsessed with the video game that came out before the second one, and like all like it's a very important time in my life where I was like a fake wannabe cinephile because I liked Kevin Smith and I was into The Matrix. Like, fuck you, Craig. But seriously, so
hey, that guy's still in there, Craig.
he's still
that guy's
there.
still in there.
Hey,
yeah, I know.
That's like the most real version of me, where I like open my Letterboxd account and I list my top 4 movies, and it's like, you know, fucking Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and
Joker.
Holy shit. For anybody, just real quick, guys, I don't want to do other people's material, but Nikki,
Are you gonna do Nikki Glazer's material on Joker for all you do?
No, but Nikki Glazer was great hosting the Golden Globes last night, and there was a bunch of jokes she didn't do that she told on Howard Stern this morning, and whew, there's a couple. There's an Alec Baldwin joke that is so good, but they, you know, you can't put everybody on blast. But yeah,
why he did.
Oh, who's Nikki Glazer now?
Her joke, she said,
Oscars.
I'll just say the joke that she didn't say, and I don't, this is not us, this is her. She said, Michael Keaton returned for Beetlejuice, but Alec Baldwin did not return to play a ghost because he was too busy making them.
All right.
So, yeah.
It's related to the podcast. I get it.
Um,
I liked when she was talking about Joker Folly Adieu.
Yeah.
And she was like, let's go to their table to the camera. And they're like, wait. Then she was like, they're not here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It was pretty funny. It was pretty awesome.
It was very good.
So yeah. Okay. So listen, Drew Goddard, talented guy. Maybe he can do, like, one thing I will always say, I never like when people are like doubt like what a creative can do with any prop. Like, anybody can have a really great idea and execute on it and surprise people. Like, I don't like when like normies are like, how could they ever do it? It's like, trust me, if given the opportunity, somebody could do something awesome with the Matrix. It doesn't mean that they will, but they could. So I'm open to it, but it all feels a little bit like a, you know, time's passed by and it's 2000.
Yeah, it doesn't feel timely at all.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, and we'll keep everybody up to date on Will Smith. I think the only other time we ever talked about Will Smith is after the slap we did Will Smith's best figures on Toy Driver.
That was timely.
Which was probably Wild Wild West figures.
Well, he's got Wild Wild West, Independence Day.
Does he
Mm-hmm. Men in Black.
Men in Black. And what's that?
Probably Men in Black animated toys. I don't think they were based on the movie. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Was it were the toys just based on the cartoon? I don't know.
And then wasn't he in what's that movie? Suicide Squad? He probably got a figure from that. So yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Moving on. Abigail.
Yeah.
You told me. Hey, hello.
Sorry, I thought I lost you.
No, I'm here. Not Penny's boat. No, damn it. I could have sworn I had that written on my hand.
Make him do it. It's peer pressure.
No, one of the, you know, as we get into the year, like we talked about this last week, that we would be being a little bit more timely and covering, you know, all this movie news as it happens, covering trailers when they release. Just coming up, there's some big stuff. I think Super Bowl is probably going to be major.
rumors we're getting a Jurassic World trailer. at the Super Bowl. I don't know how substantial that is, but the movie is not that far out, and trailers are usually coming out around this time. So
yeah, I think
I
we're gonna
wouldn't
get
know.
a Jurassic World trailer. I think we're gonna get a Fantastic Four trailer. So yeah, I would love to do maybe the
When
night
is
of the
that?
the weekend
February
of
9th.
the Bill Murray concert.
Okay, so we might be going live that weekend then.
Oh, we might get a new
Oh, yeah.
Cloverfield movie.
For
If you
a
think
couple
about it.
reasons.
I hope so.
The last time Jacob was here to watch the Super Bowl, we got a free Cloverfield movie that night.
Yeah, it was great.
But for tonight, it's a little bit of a slower news week. But Abby, you were mentioning there's like this giant winter storm coming across the Midwest. There's snow. People are going to be having snow days. It's cold here. Jacob, you mentioned it's not cold by you yet.
Nope.
But
And
Abby,
it's not just not cold to me. It was not cold today. It was
just not
in
cold.
It was in the 70s today. It's gotten a little cooler since earlier, but I mean, I've been wearing a cutoff shirt all day. But it's supposed to get cold. It's just not here yet.
But Abby had this fun little roundtable idea of like, what are your favorite cold weather or snow movies? And I've been thinking about it a little bit. And you made a good like list. I think there's a couple really
I feel like
obvious
it's a good YHS list, like a comprehensive if we were to post it.
Do you want to start us off? Do you have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite cold weather movie?
Well,
Yeah. This was mine. I don't have the
This was
list
your
in
list.
front of me. It's on just for programming. It is on my phone, which I'm using as a camera. But I can remember what I wrote down.
I got the list.
I got the
You
list.
got the
too.
list? You want to?
Yeah.
How about should we just maybe talk about them from 10 to
Yeah.
1 or something?
Sure.
sure?
And Ab, I just emailed you the list too if you want to
Thank
pull
you.
up your email.
Thank you so much.
Well, the first one on there, and by the way, if you're watching along live, feel free to chime in. I think the first one is like the real obvious one, but we should talk about it and what it means to us.
Yeah.
And that is the Mighty Ducks. No, I'm just kidding. The Shining. Like, I think you can make a case that The Shining is the best cold weather movie that has ever been made.
I mean, you could go beyond that and make a case that it might be the best movie ever. Like, if somebody told me they thought Shining was the best movie ever made, I'm not going to argue with them.
There's no argument there. But Abby, why don't you walk us through what about The Shining in the I guess the setting of the winter, being in that hotel, being just like isolated from society, what that can do to a human being.
The
like,
madness that you experience from being trapped inside, the fact that it's beautiful, the thing that's keeping you like indoors is like something that's kind of fun in the beginning, and it's like, hey, lots of snow, let's go out and go to the hedge maze and have a little fun, which is how the book is. So I think that watching The Shining is like a perfect way to like fully experience that catharsis of having like cabin fever and being stuck indoors. I think the book's incredible. I think that Stanley Kubrick is a great director, obviously, and I think that the movie is it's just seminal. Like, it's a huge movie. But watching it when it's cold outside, it's fun. Like, and then you get to the madness and the insanity. And when it comes to the book, the story in the book, I kind of prefer the ending there to the movie ending. I like Wendy Torrance more as like a strong character who's like kind of more active. But I love that movie. I love The Shining. It is something that all three of us love. Jacob, you shared your love of Stephen King with us, and I grabbed onto that. And we went to the Stanley Hotel in Colorado, and that was something I'll never forget. And it's something I want to do again, honestly. I'd like to go back for like a New Year's Eve celebration. But yeah, it's a perfect movie. Like, it takes you in for a warm hug, and then it starts to like really twist.
I think it's a perfect movie. It's in my top 10. It's so rewatchable. It's so like I get like Jacob. I know you probably rewatched it for your Kubrick Christmas, which I think
did.
Next year we might need to make that some sort of official.
I've been doing it
like, let's run out of theater or something.
I've been doing it every Christmas Eve for I looked it up because it was in my memory. It's in my Facebook memories the first time I did a Kubrick Christmas, and it was like 11 or 12 years ago. And it happened because I bought a brand new TV and I bought my first Blu-ray player like around that time. And one of the first things I bought was just a DVD that had The Shining, 2001, and Clockwork Orange in it. And
that old Target
and
3-pack.
on
I remember that
Christmas
bad boy.
Eve, I watched all three, and I was like, "Oh, it's a Kubrick Christmas." And then I was just like, "Oh wait, I'm just gonna keep doing this?" So I do it every year.
So going back based on what Abby just said, are you saying that YHS this year does a Kaiju Go-esque Kubrick Christmas
Kubrick Christmas at the Plaza
at
Theater.
the Plaza Theater on Christmas Eve?
Oh my god!
And we
that'd be
do a
great.
marathon? Like,
I'm
why
booking
not?
now.
We do a couple movies. Yeah,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, let's send some emails.
All right,
it'd be
let's send
great.
an email.
I'm gonna bring my mom.
Here's the
make her
thing.
go.
Hey, I
we
might.
could actually do something
I-
like that.
I was like sort of annoyed because I talked about this on the last episode. I've been sort of like low level obsessed with Eyes Wide Shut recently,
Right.
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they showed it on like 35 millimeter at
Yeah,
the
at the
Plaza last
Plaza.
week.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, if I would have known, maybe I could. I think they only did it for one day or something like that.
Yeah, we
Hey,
fucked up.
you know what they're playing at the Plaza? That's pretty insane.
Hmm.
They're doing Salo, which is like 120 Days of Sodom. It is one of the grossest movies I've ever seen.
That's saying
It
a lot.
is based on a book by the Marquis de Sade, which I have read, and it's just fucked up. It's like a cult movie, you know. It's like known to be really weird and fucked up, and
Mhm.
for a long time you couldn't find copies, and I think Criterion put it out a couple of years, it's probably 10 years at this point.
Mhm.
But I just saw they're showing it at the Plaza, and I was like trying to imagine seeing that on a big screen, and I don't think
Yeah. Oh, now I'm gonna read all about this
You
after our episode.
you should. And the book's actually kind of funny.
Because I've read about
The
like
book-
Caligula and like that kind of stuff, which is sort of like
Caligula is gross, but it is not.
doesn't
like-
compare to this.
No, Caligula is not like unwatchable. Caligula is kind of funny, and it's
Ah.
like it's. I think Caligula is a piece of art. It's weird and
Okay.
got some shit in it, but 120 Days of Sodom is like, I've watched it one time,
Mhm.
and no need to ever put that on again. But I read the book because I was intrigued. When I watched the movie, I was like, this is based on a book. So I bought it and I read it, and the book's like kind of funny. It's got like weird kind of satire in it, and it gets to
Mhm.
like a ridiculous point where the things that are taking place, even though they're gross, they have like humor to them. But
Mhm.
none of that humor comes across when you're watching it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's just gross. So
Yeah, I'm reading.
sorry to derail this whole thing.
No.
No, dude, we love talking. At least I love talking about contraband movies and books
Yeah.
and things that are supposedly too perverse or decrepit or disgusting for people to like entertain their minds with. I always love seeking that stuff out and being like, can I handle it? If I can, then like
Yeah.
fuck it.
You should. There's probably I guarantee you, if you get on YouTube, somebody's done like it's like a thing. Like a popular thing to take a movie that's really fucked up, watch it, and then do a whole episode where you're explaining it to people so they don't have to
Don't
watch
have
it
to-
if they
people
don't
like
want
me.
to. Yeah, and I've watched a couple of those videos. I guarantee you, there's probably 50 of them about 120 Days of Sodom.
Okay.
So.
I learned.
Cool.
So I've never even heard of this, so I'm learning something new. I mean,
Have you heard of the Marquis de Sade before? Probably in
no.
passing, but not.
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, those are words that sound familiar to my ears.
Break
but I
those
there's
words down, Jacob.
there's a line in the dentist song of Little Shop of Horrors where they say you don't
Okay.
want your teeth
Oh.
done by the Marquis de Sade. He was like this guy who wrote. He
French
wrote
writer,
literature.
libertine, activist.
Yeah. but he was like, they jailed him for his writings. Like they're insane shit. And they're hard to, hey,
They're very hard to find. Oh, here we are.
Yes, there is
the complete
groundbreaking new book.
Marquis de Sade. I bought it because I wanted to read 120 Days of Sodom, so
Okay,
cool.
it's in here somewhere. But he was just known for being like a depraved, weird, fucking Frenchman who liked shit and weird stuff. So,
well,
yeah.
Speaking of depraved Frenchmen,
Craig, I'll bring you this. You can read it.
Thank you. If you guys aren't part of the YHS Patreon, horrible segue.
Cut to me with a flashlight under the bed.
Patreon.com/yeshavesome. Over 7 years, I believe, maybe 6 years of archived bonus content. We'll have more bonus episodes coming this month.
I just opened to a random page of 120 Days of Sodom.
Yeah.
And if I read what I'm reading, you would cut it out.
Probably.
I bet. Well,
but
we know Sodom's more from the Bible, so yeah.
Patreon.com/yeshavesome. For $5 a month, you get the complete archive, including access to the YHS Discord. We have a ton of fun in there. Thank you guys for all of your support. Okay. Abby, you mentioned the Stanley Hotel.
Cool.
I think Dumb and Dumber is a great cold weather movie.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I fucking love Dumb and Dumber.
A lot of snow.
Those movies, Dumb and Dumber and The Shining, that's a perfect double feature.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say they're the same plot. The Descent into Madness.
That's what we should do for our movies. It should be first Eyes Wide Shut, then The Shining, then Dumb and Dumber. That's the most
lighten
YHS
the
thing.
mood.
A Kubrick Christmas.
Yeah, like a deviant movie. And then something terrifying, and then something really funny.
I believe Brian Brink brought this up in the chat, and I got to agree with him. The Fugitive. Now, The Fugitive is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm on a Harrison Ford kick lately.
Mm-hmm.
I will rewatch The Fugitive soon. Jacob, I don't know if you've ever actually partaken.
I've never seen it. No.
It's really great. It's really fun. And I will say this. I love Harrison Ford. I think he's incredible in Shrinking. He's just... I really want to appreciate... I mean, that he's 81 years old. I want to appreciate Harrison Ford for all the time we have him. He's still as funny as ever. He's still sharp. His acting is always just like top notch. So I'm going to go maybe this week and have myself a little Harrison Ford marathon.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm going to do The Fugitive, maybe What Lies Beneath, maybe Air Force One, which there's a rumored sequel.
I've never
to that.
seen that either.
Wait,
dude,
have you seen What Lies Beneath, Craig?
I've seen What Lies Beneath. Yeah.
Okay, good. I love that movie.
That's a cool movie.
Hey, you know what? I wonder if you've seen this, Abby, and if you haven't, you can check it out. Another good winter movie to pair with The Shining is another Stephen King movie, Dreamcatcher.
Oh,
Would you say?
Well,
you're Misery.
You're
which
right,
is correct.
but you
Both
had that
answers
on
are
the
right.
list, so I didn't. You had that on the
Sorry.
list, so I didn't put that.
My
on there.
brain's on
But-
just brain, not list right now. Yeah,
but
I know exactly.
Have you seen
what you're saying.
Dreamcatcher?
No, I haven't.
No, it's
The Wintertime?
it's a fucking weird Stephen King movie and great book. The movie is not as good, but it's fun. And it's about a group of guys who get together every year on a winter trip. And one year something really fucking weird happens.
Okay.
Plenty of snow, out in a cabin, aliens coming out of people's assholes. It's great.
There it is. That's the cross section of everything we love.
It's a fun movie. I might watch it tonight.
That sounds great. Yeah.
The Thing is maybe the ultimate.
It is.
Yeah, like that's a obvious choice. Great movie.
And I another guy, John Carpenter, where I found I go on these deep rabbit holes where I'll watch old Siskel and Ebert clips where they're reviewing movies. And I'm always surprised by what those guys liked and didn't like because
they make no sense to me.
I saw Gene.
You don't know what they're talking about.
I saw Gene Siskel. No, Roger Ebert talking about how Home Alone 3 was better than the first two. Fucking.
Oh, can we do an episode on just that? Like really bad reviews that don't age well.
Things.
It's weird because those guys will passionately defend a movie, and it's like you just said, it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids Part 4. And
Right.
it's like, what?
I mean,
It's
I
weird.
respect it. I love the art of film
Yeah.
criticism. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Gene Siskel also said that Scream 2 was better than the first one, which is a take, although I like Scream 2. But the one that was getting me today, I was watching their original review of Halloween, and they just how much they loved it.
They loved
like,
it? That's
They
cool.
loved it. And they were, you know, they were talking about how, and this is deviating from the snow conversation, but they were talking about how, especially compared to the time period when Halloween came out, like they were like, it's nice to see a horror movie that doesn't hate women. Like it has like strong female representation who like they're like acting like capable human beings in a crisis.
Yeah, like normal people who smoke weed and like have lives, sex lives. I love it.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is so whether or not you think Halloween is, I think, God, when we do this, I want to do this franchise discussion about horror movies soon. I really want to dig into what we want to do with, because obviously it's going to be up to us to fix these.
Yeah, it's no one else. Hey, no one else is gonna do it.
I mean, the answer these days on everything is like prequel series, Camp Crystal Lake. It's like, but anyways,
Hey, my answer is always give it to Mike Flanagan.
Hell yeah.
Flanagan it
Absolutely.
up.
Flanagan can do it. He's our man.
Speaking of possible snow movies, the rumors are, well, we know Mike Flanagan's going to write this Clayface movie, and but yeah, there's the rumors are very strong that the Batman 2 is going to be a winter setting and possibly have Mr. Freeze in it. And I'm all in. Let's do it.
Cool.
I'm into that.
Batman Returns as a winter setting. That's a winter.
Yeah, that's a good winter movie for sure. I think we should go back to The Thing.
Yeah, let's go.
It's one of the best movies of all time. It's
incredible.
One of the best horror films of all time. It's gross. It's everything about that movie is great. I have mentioned on this show multiple times, most recently during our Halloween episode, that is a movie that I caught a glimpse of as a kid that really freaked me out, and then years later realized it was The Thing. The Shining and The Thing, you got these both at the top of this list. Those are two movies that are in my top 10 movies of all time. They're just great.
I fucking love movies.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sick of not watching one right now.
Let's end this and go watch one.
Well, I want to comment a couple of these other ones.
No.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great winter movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I watched that around Christmas time because I feel like it's got enough of like a poignancy to it, and nostalgia that it fits in the Christmas movie criteria.
I can't really recall what I thought of Groundhog Day when I was a kid. I feel like I maybe didn't love it as a kid who was obsessed with Ghostbusters and What About Bob. Like, I feel like maybe at 10 or 12 years old, I didn't get Groundhog Day. It's become obviously one of my favorites. But that's a fun. And then just another one I have to highlight because we got to talk some Tarantino is Hateful Eight, which is one of my favorite. Another one of my favorite movies. It's just just a perfectly executed movie. I'm the only one with ties to the thing. I'm the only one who watches Hateful Eight and goes, I wish this was longer. Like it's so good. But
talk about a movie that makes you feel like lucky to be indoors, because it's so damn cold outside when the door opens and the snow blows in. I always enjoy watching that. Feeling warm.
We talked about this a little bit, I think maybe on our Christmas Q&A, but all of us have origins in the North. Abby, you kind of noted this as a possible discussion topic, but I think it's kind of fun because like I grew up in Chicago, but moved to Georgia when I was 7. But like the thought of possibly getting a snow day, maybe the most excited you can be as a child who just like, what is it about snow that ignites the fucking, like the fire within a child? Like, what is it?
Well, I think snow is fun. It's fun to play in. It is fun to look at. It is fun to watch. It is just fun to
beautiful
watch snow accumulate. It's great. Even if it can get freezing, it's
Yeah.
a nice environment to be in. Every Christmas movie takes place, in snow, and there's like a little bit of a feeling. It's like you get a little bit of that magic when it's snow. It just feels special to me. I always loved the snow. I was born in Connecticut. I fucking love it. I wish I lived somewhere where it snowed. I don't give a fuck about shoveling and all that. I don't want to do that shit. But I wish snow was a thing in my life a little more often. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the thing that I always loved about snow, or like the general feeling that it evoked, was like the world's kind of shutting down. At least being in the South when there was snow,
Right.
there was a feeling of like, oh my gosh, like cops aren't out. We're not going to the grocery store. We're stuck with what we have. It's like Little House on the Prairie. And it's kind of lawless. At least that's how I found it. So like my brother and I would go out and have fun and like run around the neighborhood and slide down the hills and
Yep,
snowballs.
we used
and
to
all
do that a lot. Where I lived in I lived in Waterbury, Connecticut, little town, hills everywhere, and we would always go to the cemetery, and it's so like a cemetery is so beautiful in the snow, and it was all hilly on either like all the way around the cemetery, so you could go and like sled down the hills into the cemetery, and
Yeah.
Dude,
there's nothing better. There's literally nothing better than that.
That's
Cemeteries are great in the snow. I remember going to being off of work when I lived and worked in College Park, and there's a big cemetery there. And I remember just parking and doing a cemetery walk. It's a special place to be in the snow.
Here's something. You when it starts warming up a little bit and the snow starts melting, it gets all dirty and
Yeah.
I hate that.
You got to put the salt down so you can walk anywhere.
F this. I remember we had a couple, 1993, there was a legendary blizzard in Georgia that like shut us all day. It was right around my birthday. And I'll never forget being so mad because like my dream as a kid, first of all, I had Super Mario snow boots with matching gloves or mittens.
Don't tell Zach.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll do a video on them. I honestly hope he does because I like those videos, Zach.
By the little sidebar, Zach Myers has actually a great YouTube channel if you're into some Super Mario movie.
I was actually talking to him the other day, and he said he's trying to. I don't want to be giving away his business, but he was talking about doing more Mario videos. He's got great stuff.
But my dream was to when you're a kid, you're obsessed, or I was obsessed with trying to build a fort. My dream was to build like a snow tunnel that started in one place and then there's a tunnel and you end up in another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my friend up the street had a good backyard with a nice slope that they had accumulated so much snow. And I was like, fuck, today's the day. The dream's coming true today, folks. There's going to be a fort. There's going to be a tunnel. Because we used to play, we used to do like war. Like we would like do like, toy guns and stuff. And he had all these weird rules. For refueling, we would go to his pantry and get sugar packets and equal packets. We'd be like, refuel,
sustenance.
Yeah, back out to the snow.
Get a sugar rush.
That's so awesome. Weird. When you're a kid, you're so dumb. But anyways, this is all building up to a point. Him and his sister, these people were from Florida, but they had these really nice like snowsuits.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so jealous because like I'm out there with like a puffy jacket and jeans. Your jeans get soaking wet
just
immediately.
Wet.
Mm-hmm.
Wet jeans.
And I remember being like, Mom, we're from Chicago. Why don't we have good snowsuits? And I never got one. So I'm probably a little bitter about it. Yeah.
I also like, we had basements up in Connecticut and Massachusetts. And I remember my aunt living in Massachusetts and her basement was like where you wanted to hang out. There was a TV down there and a Nintendo. Nice. And like, I remember being down there. I was always as a kid fascinated that the window in the basement was like the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're like, you can see in the ground because you're underground.
Yeah.
Watching the snowfall from the window and watch it slowly pass, the window. I used to love that.
It's beautiful.
It's the wonder of nature, man. That's
why
we like.
Basements.
Hey, I
Hey.
got another movie for you, Abby. I don't know if you've
Okay.
seen this one. Most of this movie does not take place in the snow, but it ends in the snow, and it's The Son of Godzilla. Have you seen that one?
Oh my god, yes! When
I
it's
love
just
that
so
movie.
hot on the island,
Yeah.
that they need snow, and Godzilla's got a son, and he's being trained on like how to blow smoke rings.
Yeah.
There's parenting.
I love the ending shot of that movie where it's
Me
just the
too.
two of them hugging in the snow.
Is there a snow globe with that? Because there should be.
I don't think there is, but there should be.
Dude, that's our Etsy store.
Let's do
I
it.
think that's a great idea.
Let's
That's
do
what we
it.
do.
Just that and the Jack Torrance
Yeah.
one
yeah.
that you made.
No, I mean, and Abby, one more thing. We'll probably wrap up here. This has been kind of a fun, loose discussion like this. As far as like snow-based activities, I'm a big. I've never been skiing. I've never been ice skating. I've clearly never been snowboarding. But these are all things I like and that I'm fascinated by.
Mhm.
Flat out, there's no way I would be able to ice skate. I never even
Can you skate? Regular
Have you ever
skate?
tried?
I could roller skate, but I never had a roller blade.
Well, I always thought so. I was never very good at it, but I spent a lot of time at the skating rink.
Oh yeah, me
Um,
too.
I think it's easier to roller blade than to skate on the four wheels.
Oh, interesting.
And
okay.
I think if you can rollerblade, you can ice skate. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm very bad at all of those. I've done all of them, but I'm very bad at all of those. I like to sled though. I'll get on a fucking sled. Anybody can get on a sled.
Oh,
Sleds are
dude.
good.
Let's
would-
go. Hey, what do we like? We like movies. We like snow.
Mm-hmm.
We should go to Sundance next year
Oh, yeah.
in Utah and go sledding or skiing and then go see a movie.
I'm not
Yeah.
setting a foot in that goddamn town until they accept my submission.
Wait. Oh my god.
For
Yeah,
my
we don't
home-
like them. That's
My
why.
home films. Oh my god.
When it comes to skating and things of that nature, skiing, I consider myself to be very good at skating. I have pretty decent balance and leg strength. So I like and I enjoy ice skating. I love rollerblading. I've never skied, but if we went, I have a feeling I would enjoy it. Maybe I would get an
As long as I
injury.
could go to that like flat skiing where you're basically just walking with the skis on.
The bunny hop
Yeah.
or whatever that's called.
Because I don't want to.
The
Fucking-
family room, basically.
Well, because I know Abby will try to get on the big hill first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it could, yeah.
I mean, one
I
time
need
we
you
went.
for-
Greg,
Fair.
I'd be right there with you. I'm not
Hey.
good at that stuff either, but I'd like to try it.
Abby, you're gonna take two. While you're gone, I'll tell Jake about the time we went jet skiing and how you almost.
Okay, it was a different time. It's before I quit drinking. I'll be right back.
What?
It just was not fun.
She had to go away for this?
No, she just needed a 2-second break.
Oh,
No, this was cool. By the way, just circling all the way back. I really like this idea of us doing a movie marathon.
mhm.
And whether it's Christmas or not, I think we need to put on an event. I think a weird naked Indian will come to me in a dream tonight and tell me that
Yeah.
I need to put on a film festival. But we'll see. We'll see. Jacob, what's the rest of your week look like as we wind down here?
Well, today's Monday, so that sucks.
It's tough one.
Are we doing Toy Anxiety tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think Ryan will be traveling, so maybe we'll get a guest or somebody to join us. Or
You don't have jury duty?
no, it's actually I got jury duty notice today. It was for the week of the Bill Murray. It was for the day of the Bill Murray concert, and I said, I called him and I said, frankly, this is going to be a bit of a problem for me. I did a Bill Murray impression.
You did?
No, I
Oh,
got to
thank
push
you,
back.
man.
You can like request a different date, so it's
Okay.
going to be in March. But Abby also has it in a couple weeks, so
Okay.
all very annoying.
So Toy Anxiety tomorrow. I'm hoping I should have a really great pickup tomorrow.
Okay.
Actually related to something we've talked about tonight. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that shows up. Other than that, the rest of my week is going to be chill.
Chilling out.
I don't
Yeah.
want to do anything. I might take Wednesday off work this week.
Ooh.
Thinking about it.
Get a pizza, a little hot cocoa.
Maybe. We'll see. I
Um,
don't know.
Little preview of I I'm a I'm an idiot toy collector. I will say this. I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. I passed a toy in the store the other day that I was like buying it. I don't even care, and it's opening up another wormhole. So I got this.
Showing it off here.
I just wanted a little preview of tomorrow night. Little Roddy.
Is that a Rowdy
Piper.
Piper?
It's a WCW specific Roddy Piper figure.
But you collect wrestling toys, so
I
that
do.
works.
I do. It's
Mhm.
fine. And yeah, we'll do Toy Anxiety tomorrow. Then we're working on a bunch of different little projects, and we got some fun stuff coming up. But
Yeah.
I'm enjoying doing this live thing on Monday night. It's really fun to have a get together at a predetermined time and chat on fire.
You know what I am getting into? I'm picking up a new book.
Ooh.
Mhm.
This has probably been on my list to read for the longest. Like,
Okay.
even back when I wasn't reading as much, I wanted to read this book, and I just never did. It always felt kind of daunting. But I'm starting Moby Dick this week.
Oh, you bitch! That's cool. Should I say that the actual thing that first came to my mind when I thought of Moby Dick?
Yeah.
I stole that from a library once. As in, I rented it.
How do you steal from a library? They
Just
give you the book.
library. I
She
paid all
took
my
it into
debt
the
off.
bathroom.
Dude, no, I
book's
just
been
never
flagged.
returned them, and I may have moved and
That's
taken them with
okay. It
me
happens.
in a bag.
They want you to read books. They don't.
They
it's
do.
okay.
I stole that and some other stuff. Anyway, I paid
She's
my.
like,
I
I stole Moby Dick, a couple $100.
yeah, come
Captain
on, Peter.
Ahab's
I've
wife.
done my time. I'm fine. But
Abby,
yeah,
do
Moby
you
Dick's
want to
awesome, dude.
offer for a new viewer? Do you want to
Listener?
offer like a clarifying statement
On that or on the book?
There was like a before time and a.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm 12 years sober. I don't drink anymore. So there was a time where my decision making was influenced heavily by that, and I've since recognized my error and corrected my ways.
Yeah.
And
So
I
now we
encourage
actually
anyone who wants to do that.
we often will go to libraries and we will we'll just give them copies of Moby Dick as a kind of a make good.
Mhm.
Abby,
Go
seriously,
buy them from a store. And
I mean,
Yeah.
fuck it. We kind of bare our souls here. Abby, you'll hit your 12-year sober day here in
January
couple-
11th.
on the 11th, and that's awesome.
Mhm.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
We're
I
gonna
appreciate it.
celebrate with a little sparkling apple cider and
Bottle of sparkling apple juice.
both of those two apple related things.
Same thing. I
They're
just
the
said it a
same
different
thing.
way.
Same identical drink.
I do
Oh, and then
that,
maybe
yeah.
like some sort of carbonated apple drink,
Like a
don't know.
spicy
I
apple.
don't know, like a Granny Smith with bubbles. Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
No, that's awesome. That's really cool. I've never read Moby Dick, but it is the great novel.
Well, the size of the book no longer scares me. It used to be a size thing. It's a big book.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
But I've been reading Stephen King, for the last couple of years, and I've read books by Stephen King that are twice the size of Moby Dick. So
Yeah.
it's not that. It's just, I don't know. Like I hear a lot of things about it, and kind of my main thing, my favorite thing to read is these books that I got a lot of them about like animals bent on revenge or like killer animals, and
Mhm.
I am trying to get myself, I want to be like an expert in like that genre, and I can't call myself an expert if I haven't read Moby Dick. It's like
It's the one. Right.
animal
Mhm.
revenge book,
Mhm.
So
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you can't be a Stephen King aficionado if you haven't read all the Dark Tower, right, guys?
No, I would end that sentence with The Shining or It.
I'm just
Green
by the
Giant.
way, hey, I had two things in my head. It was one, should I throw a little shade at these two Stephen King fans for not reading The Dark Tower, or should I make my joke, which was I haven't read Moby Dick, but I have read Fat Boy Slim Dick.
What?
Is that his autobiography?
Oh,
because of
what?
Moby. The other
Yeah.
famous
Oh.
DJ.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm happy for you, Jacob. I think that's going to be a good book.
Yeah.
I think there's great metaphor. You've seen The Whale. It's talked about in that movie. So
Yeah, and I've seen every version of Moby Dick on screen.
Adaptation. Yeah. Okay.
I know. I also read last year. I read 2 other books about whales, Out for Revenge, and they were like my 2 favorite books last year. So I got to read, the third in the trilogy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't just watch Deep Blue Sea and The Shallows and be like, haven't checked out Jaws yet.
Yeah, you
Like,
got
come on, man.
exactly. That's it.
That's
it.
Well, cool. That's awesome. It's Captain Ahab, dude. Yeah, that's awesome. And I just finished a book as well. My first book of the year, Growing Up Urkel, Jaleel White's autobiography. And similar to Moby Dick, it's about one of the giants of 90s sitcoms.
Hey, I saw a clip on Facebook of him and what's his name? The guy who plays George Costanza.
Jason Alexander.
Jason
Yeah.
Alexander. And they were on some show.
Well,
and
he has a podcast. Jason Alexander has a podcast.
Was it? Well, maybe it was Jason's podcast. I'm not sure, but Jaleel White was telling him like how much he loved Seinfeld growing up and how, when Seinfeld came out, and Jason Alexander was like, why? You're black. Why did any black people like Seinfeld? And he was like,
about it.
He was kind of shocked that any, black people gravitated towards it. And he was like, well, we all loved it. And he was like, everybody on Family Matters loved Seinfeld.
Well, Jason Alexander was talking about how they pre-internet, when you were like on a sitcom or something, you don't really have a sense of your audience or who gravitates towards you. And he was talking about how they all assumed like season 2, 3 of Seinfeld that they had like a very niche,
like a specific audience.
It was like rooted in like Jewish humor.
Yeah,
I could say it.
Yeah.
And it was
Woody
like
Allen type. That's what they thought was maybe
right, New York. But no, I mean Seinfeld. It's
universal.
It's fucking
it transcends every border or boundary because it's just funny, and humor is the thing that we can all connect to. At least I know for a fact when it comes to.
I mean, Abby and I had a discussion last night. Out of all the fake movies in Seinfeld, which one do you want to see the most?
Rochelle.
Rochelle seems boring to me.
No, she's figuring her life out.
Prognosis Negative, or what are the exciting ones? Death Blow.
Death Blow.
Means to an end.
Means to an end. Sack
Isn't that
Lunch.
like the bad one that you don't want to see.
Sack Lunch. Well, the one last night was Checkmate. Was
Negative.
the one. Death Blow. When somebody wants to blow you up, not for who you are, but for different reasons altogether. Is that what it is? God.
That's what I eventually would like to have, a YHS theater that we like purchase and adopt and work at, and then we can put all those posters
We
up.
make those movies.
Only Seinfeld posters.
Let's actually make those movies.
One woman's journey from Milan to Minsk.
Minsk. Milan to Minsk.
Milan to Minsk. Maxine Minks.
Yeah.
There it is. The erotic journey from Milan to Minsk. Is boring? Come on. Yeah, Jacob. Well, guys, this was fun. Thank you for being here. As always, we very much appreciate it. Every Monday, you can join us. We're going to experiment with times, but it'll be 6:30, 7 o'clock. We'll lock down an official time, but this worked for me. Abby, do you have any?
Or we won't.
Do you have any? Final thoughts?
Just stay on your toes, motherfuckers. Be Monday. I'll just tell you when, and you'll be there. I'll send you a text. Say you up.
Should we do a text?
Talk about Maxine Minks, and I'm just like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I said Maxine. All of a sudden, Abby's you upping the whole audience.
Abby just got really mean.
I did.
I don't want to see what happens if Abby texts our entire viewing audience and just says you up.
You up?
That people wait a stick. Jacob, anything else?
No, I just think we didn't even get to all the movies on the list, but I'd like to maybe hear if anybody listening, if you got any good, snow movies or winter movies, send them our way, because
Yeah.
I feel like I need some new ones. These were all good movies, and like I said, there was a lot we didn't talk about, but be nice to get some new ones in the rotation. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Maybe like tag us in your story if you're going to take a picture of what you're watching, because I always post pictures like that. So yeah, tag
YHS Movie
YHS.
Club. Very, very cool. Well, everybody have a great week. Hope you're having a very healthy and happy start to your new year. We will be back next week with more Yes Have Some podcaster Abigail Gardner and Jacob Walsh. My name is Craig Goldberg. Here's a little music. Press the wrong button. Press the wrong goddamn
I like
button.
this. This is
I like
calming.
that. Yeah.
This is
All right,
my
we'll go back to the other one.
instrumental meditation list.
You're getting
No, this is-
very.
This is good.
Take a deep breath. Hold for 4 seconds.
Before you get on eBay, please read the instruction manual. Bye, everybody. Come on, give me something.
No. This is new. I like this. We're ending on
I do
like a
too.
meditative
Just
note.
chill.
It's beautiful.
All right,
Toy
then we'll,
Anxiety
end,
would never have this music.
then we'll end on a brand new segment called Abby's Advice of the Week. Abigail, one piece of advice for the audience. Go.
Buy a toy. Watch a movie. That's two different things, but you should do both.
Watch a movie that's two different things.
Watch a movie, buy a toy from the movie. That's the perfect way to do things.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.